الخيام واهل الخيام لا صمنا لا صلينا يا من سحيق ينزف عشيق روحة تسولف بينا نام بشميس بينا يحيس في خيمته يخلينا صب دمعته وبنيته ما تضيع سكينة معشوق تظل دامي وحيد ولا يمكن انساك يريد معشوق تظل دامي وحيد ولا يمكن انساك يريد شارين بعطش حيل سحق خيل مذبوح وسهيل البشر مثل الحجر وانت ابو الحنيه ذاك الظهور بيتك جمهور ما عندهم انسانيه صاروا سدى وانت الندى لو شربوك ميه صاير لون خضرك بقن ما تنسبي رقية يا الجسمك ما صح للفياي ويا شفافك يا ذنب الماي يا الجسمك ما صح للفياي ويا شفافك يا ذنب الماي ما عندهم قلب جون يلومون نوح على الغريب نوح على
يا ضامي وجرح الماء يطيب جرح الماء يطيب يا روحي وهيامي يا ضامي وجرح الماء يطيب جرح الماء يطيب
بكي السماء كلك دماء من قدمك كل شي بعدك يا شوقتك يا حيرتك من عبران بنياتك ضم انحرك ضم خنصرك هنش كثر طعناتك هم شاهدك وش قد بجن يا بجي خواتك يا قلبك تابعهن محروق يتعثر بالهيمة وينوك يا قلبك تابعهن محروق يتعثر بالهيمة وينوك من بعدك سبيات أسيرات والحادي غريب
يا ضامي وجرح الماء يطيب جرح الماء يطيب يا روحي وهيامي يا ضامي وجرح الماء يطيب جرح الماء يطيب
عشرة جريح ويمن ذبيح بيد فلك ماتك صار القدر أعشق نحار ما تنحسب والناتك شابع عطش ما نعش بس شملت كلماتك وامشي بضعن سابي زمان هيمة وطفن خيماتك محبوب الشاريني وبروح يناغيلي بالحومة بجروح، محبوب الشاريني وبروح يناغيلي بالحومة بجروح، يا ذنب الحوافر خواطر خواطر كسر الليل حبيب كسر الليل حبيب،
يا روحي وهيامي يا ضامي يا ضامي، وجرح الما يطيب جرح الما يطيب، يا روحي وهيامي يا ضامي يا ضامي، وجرح الما يطيب جرح الما يطيب.
الخيام واهل الخيام لا صمنا لا صلينا
لا صمنا لا صلينا،
يا من سحيق ينزف عشيق روحة تسولف بينا
روحة تسولف بينا،
نام بشميس بينا يحيس في خيمته يخلينا صب دمعته وبنيته ما تضيع سكينة، معشوق تظل دامي وحيد ولا يمكن انساك يريد، معشوق تظل دامي وحيد ولا يمكن انساك يريد، شارين بعطش حيل سحق خيل سحق خيل مذبوح وسهيل،
روحي وهيامي يا ضامي يا ضامي، وجرح الما يطيب جرح الما يطيب، يا روحي وهيامي يا ضامي يا ضامي، وجرح الما يطيب جرح الما يطيب،
ضوب البشر مثل الحجر
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوم ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إن تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أتخذوا من دونه آلهة أن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخلوا الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميعا لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملت أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining us for these Muharram lecture series presented by Hussain Youth. We kindly ask you to follow us for up-to-date info on our programs and events through our Instagram page and WhatsApp. Please note that the lectures are available after the end of the program on our YouTube channel. Now, without further ado, please welcome Sheikh Ahmed Bazzi with a loud salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا حبيب الله صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله الحسين يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء يا ليتنا ثم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Let's recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad for the love of Fatima alayha salam. The second salawat for the love of Ashab al-Hussain alayhi salam. And the last salawat for the love of Sahib al-Asri wa zaman bi'ala al-aswat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Human beings naturally are social creatures. Human beings naturally have a social side to them and want to connect with other human beings like themselves. Naturally, human beings incline towards other human beings not just because it's a form of entertainment, not because it takes the attention of the human being off of themselves, for example, their livelihood, some of the worries of the world. Rather, human beings tend to gravitate towards each other because it seems as though the social aspect of the human being is an essential part of his existence. To the degree where if a human being isolates himself from other people, they will not only feel the burden of doing so, but they will feel as though they are deteriorating as a human being. And it's very rare that you find a person that is able to isolate themselves from society, from other human beings, from humanity as a whole, and live a happy life. On the contrary, studies have shown that self-isolation for long periods of time does begin to deteriorate the brain and ultimately can lead to a person developing extreme suicidal tendencies and extreme psychological issues. And it's said that prisoners that were in self-isolation for months at a time, or in some third world countries years at a time, have come forward and testified that their time in isolation was the utmost worst type of punishment that they could have ever imagined. Although when you are put alone, or you're alone, in a room or wherever for a short period of time, it does not feel like it's detrimental. For long periods of time, no, it starts to take an effect on you. So naturally, human beings, my brothers and sisters, are social creatures. And we want to socialize. We want to find other people and bounce our energy off of that person and take from the energy of that person. To the degree where, let's say me and you were put in a room, we were imprisoned in a jail cell, and we were not able to talk. We were gagged, we were not able to talk. Just the mere fact that you are with me in the jail cell is comfort. And that itself can act as a barrier between me and insanity as a whole. So we find that human beings, as we say in Hausa, we say the human being is al-insan huwa ijtima'i bit-taba', meaning the human being and their very makeup as a human being, they are social creatures. And so you find that human beings gravitate towards each other. And they don't only gravitate towards each other because it keeps them sane. Rather, we find that when we socialize as human beings, we are able to move forward, progress, and grow as a person and as a community, as a society, as a nation, as a species. And so you found that the most influential people in history were nothing without the people around them. For example, you have a man by the name of, and some of you may know or heard of this person, Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was a king that lived before Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And this king was from Greece. It said Alexander the Great, when he began his conquest, he was 20 years of age. And he died at the age of around 30, 31. So about 10 or 11 years, Alexander the Great was going from conquest to conquest, conquering the entire Middle East. Historians say that he conquered from Greece all the way to India, all the way to where? India and some parts of China, all the way down to some parts of Africa as well. Maybe a fifth of the earth's land mass was under the reign of Alexander the Great. But Alexander the Great would have been nothing if it wasn't for his commanders. And then some historians may speculate and say the downfall of Alexander the Great is when he framed or he pointed to some of his commanders, some of his most loyal friends, and called them traitors and killed them. And that's what, Wallahu alim, some historians say is the downfall of Alexander the Great. He was nothing without his commanders. He was nothing without his friends. Similar is Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Nabi Isa doesn't need people. Nabi Isa is Isa without the people. Yes. But whenever you try to understand Isa, what comes with Isa is al-Hawariyin, the disciples of Jesus Christ. The disciples of Jesus. We don't say Jesus Christ. The disciple of Isa alayhi salam. They define him, or to some degree, they describe him. You know Isa through his companions. And it seems like there's a direct correlation. There's a direct relationship between a person's ability to create deep, profound connections with other human beings and to achieve success. Meaning what? Meaning the most influential human beings are those that are not only able to influence others, but they are able to make deep and profound connections with their loyalists, with people that they consider to be close to them. And so you see that this man by the name of Hussain ibn Ali was arguably one of the most influential human beings to ever walk the earth. And that is a claim that is not merely an Islamic claim, not coming from an Islamic bias. That claim is for anyone that looks at the Thawra, the revolution of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, analyzes it and sees what it has done to history, to human beings as a whole, humanity as a whole. Yes? This human being by the name of al-Hussein ibn Ali, being as influential as he is, he stands up and he says, I have never seen ashab, companions, like my companions, as good and as loyal as my companions. Even the companions of Rasulullah. Yes. This influential man by the name of Al-Hussein comes and says, my thawra, my revolution is on the shoulders of my ashab, my companions. And so we see, my brothers and sisters, for a person to grow, they must have companions, they must have friends, they must have people that they take from and grow with. And we say, my brothers and sisters, Islam is not only a religion, of spirituality. Rather, Islam governs all aspects, all domains of the human life. And if socializing with other human beings and connecting with other human beings plays such a profound role in building the identity of that human being, building the character of that human being, building the place that this human being occupies in this world, then surely Islam has an answer to who is the companion that me and you should be looking for. As in, has Islam classified the companion, the friend, the person that you should connect to and connect with? Has Islam classified them in different categories? And according to those categories, Islam said, be with this type and not this type. Has Islam given me guidelines as to who should be my companion? Who should be the person that I sit beside? Who should be the person that I share my secret with? Who should be the person that I share my experiences with? Who should I trust? The answer is, if Islam is a complete religion, then yes. For it should govern every single aspect of our lives, from the spiritual side, our connection with Allah, from the individual side, our connection with ourselves, and ultimately, it should govern the way that we interact with society as well. And when you go to the Ahadith and the Quran, you see that there are not only guidelines, but there are many guidelines. And the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam spoke about the friend and the companion and the person that me and you should be with and around, not just in one or two ahadith, many ahadith, to the degree where Allama al-Kulayni in Al-Kafi, he has a book called Kitab al-Ashura. Kitab al-Ashura is the book of interactions between human beings, how a person should interact with his wife, how a wife should interact with her husband, how people should be interacting with themselves. Yes? So this aspect is not just something that Islam merely covered. Rather, it's an aspect that Islam focused on. And so, my brothers and sisters, tonight, we are going to take those categories, the different types of companions that a person can have, and analyze both of them. And hopefully, come out with a result as to who is the right person that me and you should be gravitating towards. We will begin the discussion, inshallah ta'ala. But before it, we'll have a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Jameel. What are the two categories of companions that a person may have in their life? The first one, my brothers and sisters, is what we call qareen as-su'. Before we analyze what al-qareen as-su' is, let's look at it linguistically. The word qareen comes from the word qarana. Qarana means to put side by side or together. And usually al-qareen is something that is identical to the thing in question that we're talking about. So for example, if I have two identical pencils, one pencil is a qareen of the other pencil. This is al-qareen. And usually al-qareen is used for the person that you spend your time with, a person that is always with you, or a person that is with you nonetheless. Yes? This is what al-qareen means. طيب, as-su' is essentially the bad qareen. So the bad friend, the bad companion. The second one is al-sadiq. Some of you that know Arabic, if I tell you what's as-sadiq mean, especially for the brothers and sisters that are a little bit older and have a better Arabic vocabulary. If I say as-sadiq, what is as-sadiq? You tell me friend, you know? No. As-sadiq is more than just a friend. And we're going to get to what as-sadiq actually is. We have qareen as-su' and then we have as-sadiq. Jameel. Al-qareen as-su' is a person that is not a good companion to have. And this person has qualities. I'm not going to tell you the qualities of this person. I'm going to allow you, and I'm going to judge my own friends, not by what I'm going to tell you. Rather, I'm going to judge my friends, and you, inshallah, are going to judge your friends and see which one is qareen su, which one is a sadiq. Not judge them in the sense that, say they're a bad person, or that, you know, judge them in the other term of judge, but judge yourself and say, do I have qareen su, or do I have a sadiq? So listen, I'm not going to tell you the criteria. None other than who? Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam is going to tell you the criteria. In Kitab al-Kafi, there is a hadith in which Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he narrates from Imam al-Baqir, who says, my father, Ali ibn al-Hussain al-Sajjad, came one day and advised me. What did he say? He says, Ya bunay, انظر خمسة فلا تصاحبهم ولا تحادثهم ولا ترافقهم في طريق. Said, look for 5 people, 5 types of people. Don't be their sahib. Don't be with them. Don't speak to them. Or don't have a conversation with them. And don't travel with them. These 3 things. As for being around them, don't be a companion to them. As for speaking to them, don't communicate with them. If they come and say salam to you, say salam, keep going. Don't give them that space. La tuhadithhum. Al-muhadatha is 2 ways. Okay? رد السلام is wajib. If they say salam, say salam. But al-muhadatha is two ways. Back and forth, a conversation. وَلَا تُرَافِقْهُمْ فِي طَرِيقٍ. And don't walk with them or travel with them. So even in a case where you need someone to travel with, don't pick that person. To that degree. Here the Imam alayhi salam, he says, Imam al-Baqir, he says, فَقُلْتُ يَا أَبَتِ مَنْ هُمْ عَرِّفْنِيهِمْ. Who are these people? Tell me about them. So Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam starts speaking. He speaks to me and you. Listen. He says, إِيَّاكَ وَمُصَاحَبَةَ الْكَذَّابِ فإنه بمنزلة السراب يقرب لك البعيد ويبعد لك القريب. He said, the first one is the liar. Why? He'll make something that is far away seem close, and something that is close seem far away to you. Obviously, it's a metaphor. Like the mirage. Like what? The mirage. If somebody's walking in the desert, they think that there's water in the distance, but that's not water. That's a reflection from the sun, or from the sky rather, right? It's an illusion of what reality is. The kadhab, the liar, the friend who's a liar, will paint for you and me a picture of reality that is not real. Paint for me an illusion. He'll describe reality to me in an illusionary, fictitious manner. He won't tell me of what's actually going on. He'll promise me, and then go back on his promise. He'll make something seem to be close when it's actually far away. And something that's close and beneficial for me, he'll tell you, no, it's far away from you. It's a metaphor, my brothers and sisters. But notice there's a theme here. Notice there's a theme, and keep in mind the overall theme of what the Imam alayhi salam is describing. Next, then he says, وَإِيَّاكَ وَمُصَاحَبَةَ الْفَاسِقِ. Why? فَإِنَّهُ بايعك بأكلة أو أقل من ذلك. The second is the fasiq, the one who has no religious limits, the one who does the haram, عادي, no problem. It's normal for him or her to do the haram. This person, he says, will sell you for a meal or even less than a meal. He'll sell you for some food, something as simple as food. He'll sell you out. He'll betray you for food. He'll betray you for something small. Why? Because the fasiq is not loyal to his Lord. Why would he be loyal to you? Why would he be loyal to me? Jameel. Again, keep in mind the overall theme, especially for the elder community, the more academic. Keep in mind the theme of the Imam alayhi salam when he lists all these people. Listen. And then he says, وَإِيَّاكَ وَمُصَاحَبَةَ الْبَخِيلِ. Stay away from the stingy one. Why? فإنه يخذلك في ماله أحوج ما يكون إليه. For he'll betray you. Again, the theme of betrayal. He'll betray you with his money or your money. Money itself is the cause of betrayal in this individual's personality. Very good. وَإِيَّاكَ وَمُصَاحَبَةَ الْأَحْمَقِ. And stay away from al-ahmaq, who is the dumb person, the person that is not smart, essentially. Dumb and not the derogatory term, dumb in the linguistic term, as in not smart. Yes? فَإِنَّهُ يُرِيدْ أَنْ يَنْفَعَكَ فَيَضُرُّكَ. For he'll try to help you. He'll try to help you, but end up hurting you. They'll unintentionally betray you. They'll try to help you, but they'll hurt you. It's betrayal to some degree, but it's unintentional. Again, the theme of betrayal. Lastly, وَإِيَّاكَ وَمُصَاحَبَةَ الْقَاطِعِ لِرَحِمِهِ. The last one is the one who cuts ties with his family members. فَإِنِّي وَجَدْتُهُ مَلْعُونًا فِي الْقُرْآنِ. For I have found him cursed in the Holy Quran. For I have found him cursed in the Holy Quran. This person couldn't keep ties with his family members. Also, a way or a method of understanding and seeing betrayal. What's the overall theme, my brothers and sisters? صاحب السوء or قرين السوء is a person that is littered with betrayal. Is a person that will betray you one day. Is someone that will betray me one day. And they come in different forms. The traitor comes in different forms. He'll come one day in the form of a kadhib, a liar. One day he'll come in the form, or another person will come in the form of a fasiq, someone who doesn't have any value for religion or the religious rules, sins left, right, and center. They'll come in the form of al-bakhil, the stingy person. They'll come in the form of al-ahmaq, the dumb person. Will come in the form of the one that broke ties with his family or her family members. These people, if they don't betray you one day later on, you will see something from this person that will eventually hurt you. This is what the Imam alayhi salam is trying to say. And from here, we segue into another question, and that is, what are the effects of having this person as a friend? What are the direct effects of having this person as a friend? I'll tell you, go to the hadith of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, where he says, لا تصحب الفاجر. Why? فيعلمك من فجوره. He says, don't be a companion or a friend to a fajr, to a person that has no limitations, also no restrictions, like the fasiq. The person who does not care about religion, the non-religious person, the person that does haram, no problem. This person, don't be his friend, don't be her friend. طيب, why, ya Imam? Give me the reason. What's the effect? فَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ فُجُورِهِ. For he'll teach you how to become a fajr just like him. And this, my brothers and sisters, is one that the youth have a strong understanding. Saying, I'm not going to be affected by my friend that drinks. I'm not going to be affected by my friend that smokes weed, for example, smokes. I'm not going to be affected by my friend that listens to music. I'm not going to be affected by my friend that goes to the clubs, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to be affected by that friend that has no limitation when she goes out of her home, etc., etc. Fill in the blanks. Yes, I'm not going to be affected by these people if I myself am strong enough. Let me tell you something. Let's be real. And as your brother, I tell you this. Human beings subconsciously, without even feeling, without even knowing, will take from the people they are surrounded by. They will take on the qualities of these individuals without even knowing, without even feeling it. And you can see, if you're someone outside looking in, you can see the transition of people from when they begin hanging out with a crowd and how they start to take on their qualities, even though they themselves said, I'm not going to become like them. A year, 2 years, 3 years, they have become like them. They've become like them. How many people have we seen start hanging around with the wrong crowd? And a year goes by, 2 years, by the 3rd year, they die of overdose from drugs. How many people did we see? They started off in the mosque. They started to hang out in the wrong crowd in high school, university, work. High school, university, or work. And then ultimately, year, 2 years later, instead of being in the majlis on Saturday night for Ashura, they were in the club. How many of those do we know? How many of those have we seen? Many. Many. The people you are around, my brothers and sisters, will affect you whether you want to or not. Do you know why? Because the friend is a mirror to his friend. Al-Qareen Mir'atul Qareen. The friend is a mirror to his friend or to her friend. What qualities you have, you will pass on to your friend. To some degree, they'll take some of it. And whatever qualities they have, you will take on. If there's a quality that is exacerbated, that is more or less exaggerated in one person, you're going to take at least some of that quality. If there's somebody that swears, but doesn't swear just 1 or 2 times, they're swearing all the time. The entire time they're swearing. It's an exaggerated characteristic. They swear a lot. You yourself, when being around that crowd, because you heard it so much and it's become normal to your ear, you'll find yourself swearing. Maybe not as much as your friend, but you will still take from that characteristic. That is how we pick up the qualities of the people around us, my brothers and sisters. And here, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story that I myself know. Shabab, brothers and sisters, please listen to this story. I'm telling you my own experiences as your brother. Listen to this story. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me and I'm able to travel the world. Alhamdulillah, in the service, inshallah, of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, of Abi Abdullah al-Hussain. I'm able to travel the world and I'm able to see a lot of people and meet a lot of people. And traveling, by the way, traveling, my brothers and sisters, teaches you a lot about yourself and teaches you a lot about other human beings. There's a person that I got to know. His name was Wa'il. Obviously, I'm changing some of the details of the story, the names, and some of the small minor details, just for lil-amana. I'm going to call him Wa'il. Wa'il, my brothers and sisters, comes from a religious family. And Wa'il, when he was under his father's roof, before high school, Wa'il was okay. And he'd go with his dad to the mosque, right? He had some sort of atmosphere at home and outside the house. Wa'il went into high school and mixed with the wrong crowd. He started to smoke cigarettes. He started to smoke weed. He started to drink, started to party, had a girlfriend, whatever you think of, he did. Until one day, Wa'il got into a fight. He got into a fight with someone and he was high. He was on drugs. Police got involved. They took him home. His dad sat him down and spoke very, very boldly, straightforward to him. Said, look what you've done to your mother. Look what you've done to us. You had the police come to our home. You had the police come to you. You've been arrested. It was his first time getting involved with the police. Wa'il chose to change his life. Wa'il chose to turn around his life, turn around his situation. So Wa'il started to come to the mosques. Wa'il started to be around the scholars. Wa'il started to ask questions about spirituality and growth that a Hausa student wouldn't be asking. He became very engrossed in the world of spirituality. And bit by bit, you saw Wa'il growing as a vibrant Muslim, a vibrant youth in the West. Until Wa'il made the decision to pick himself up and go to Najaf al-Ashraf for Hausa. To that degree. He was willing to leave his mom, his dad, his sisters, his brothers, his family, everyone that he had back home. He was willing to leave them and go to Najaf to become a scholar. He went to Najaf. He didn't stay there for long. He didn't like the situation in Najaf. He came back. When he came back, he lived in the city that he was living in. 1 year went by, 2 years went by, and I asked, where's Wa'il? I'm not seeing him in the mosque anymore. Wa'il went right back to square one. Right back to where he started. You know why? Wa'il was willing to give away his family. Wa'il was willing to give away his life in the West, but was not willing to give away his friends. Wa'il went back to square one because he didn't change his friend group. He stayed hanging around them. He thought he can, Adi, I'm religious, I was just in Najaf, I'm okay. No, you're not. He went straight to square one. And he's still at square one. Wa'il is still at square one today. Brothers and sisters, watch out who your friends are. Wallah, as your brother, I tell you this. Wallah, you don't know what can happen. You don't know what effect they have on you. And you will only see the effect of your fellow companions, friends, when it's too late. Sallu ala Muhammad. Jameel. This is the first effect. The second effect of having qareen as-su is what we call suspicion. Suspicion of the community. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, وَمَنْ دَخَلَ مَدَاخِلَ السُّوءِ اتُّهِمْ. The one who puts himself, the one who puts herself in a situation of doubt, people will point their fingers at them and they will doubt in their integrity. You tell me, I don't care what the people think. I'll tell you, yeah, now you don't. Now I don't care what the people think when I'm in high school and my goal is to graduate. Now I don't care what people think when I'm in university and my goal is to graduate. Now I don't care what people think when I'm in my ex job and my goal is to get a promotion. But you're going to want to know what people think when you walk into a house and ask for the hand of someone. When I walk into the house of someone and I want to ask for their hand in marriage, that's when I want to know what they think. Because ultimately my sum'ah, what people know about me or think about me, is what my father-in-law, my mother-in-law will be asking about. And how many people, they fell off the face of the map. They lost their integrity in the eyes of people. Why? Why? Merely because they were in a place of doubt. Some of the brothers come and say, well, I'm not drinking when my friends are going to the bar. I'm drinking coffee or Sprite. Nobody thinks that's coffee in your cup. Nobody thinks that's Sprite in your cup. Everyone thinks that's alcohol in your cup. Because when people go to the bar, they don't drink Sprite. Maybe the designated driver, but the overwhelming majority of people have the alcoholic drinks there. It's a place for alcoholic drinks. It's a house for alcoholic drinks. Nobody knows that you're drinking Sprite. People think you're drinking alcohol. When I smoke weed and you're beside me, you're not smoking weed, no problem. But if somebody walks by and sees me smoking weed and you're right beside me, what are they going to think? When I finish, I'm going to pass it right along. We've seen these things. This is why I know these things, because I've been through these things. I've seen them. We all seen them. The brothers, the organizers, they've all seen them. You've seen them. The older ones of the crowd, they know, they've seen these things. People will not just say, oh, you're there, or I'm there. No, they'll think that is coming straight to you after. وَمَنْ دَخَلَ مَدَاخِلَ السُّوءِ اتُّهِمْ. Very important. Very important for your future. Jameel, this is qareen as-su. What about as-sadiq? What are the qualities of as-sadiq? The good friend. Imam Ali alayhi salam, when describing the qualities of as-sadiq, or the quality of as-sadiq, he says, إِنَّمَا سُمِّيَ الصَّدِيقُ صَدِيقًا لِأَنَّهُ يُصَدِّقُكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ وَمَعَايِبِكَ. The sadiq, the companion, the good friend is called a sadiq. Why? Because he is truthful to you in what you actually are and who you are, and in the bad things that are in you, in the good side and in the bad side. In other words, what? He'll come and tell you, Ahmed, what you said here was wrong. Ahmed, what you spoke about here was incorrect. Ahmed, the way you reacted to that situation was wrong. They wouldn't egg you on and say, yes, you did good by hitting that person or calling that person a name or reacting in this aggressive manner that you acted in. No, a sadiq is the person who will sit down and be truthful to you. For a mirror will show you the reality of your face. Doesn't paint a picture of something that you want to see. The mirror will show you who you are. If you have a big pimple, it's going to show you a big pimple. If you have a birthmark right here, it's going to show you that birthmark that's right there. It's not going to filter it out. Not like our phones, they filter out. No, mirrors show. They show what's there. They show what's there. That's the reality of the mirror. As-sadiq is the mirror. Al-mu'min mir'atul mu'min. The believer is a mirror to his believing brother or sister. It's a mirror. They are truthful to you. They are truthful in who they are to you. That's number one. That's the first quality. The second quality, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he also says, لا يكون الصديق صديقا حتى يحفظ أخاه في ثلاث مواطن أو في ثلاث في نكبته في غيبته ووفاته في نكبته وغيبته ووفاته. He says, the true friend is not a true friend until they are loyal to you. They protect you in 3 times. In the case of a tragedy, they are beside you. In the case where you're not around, they protect you. And in the case when you pass away, they remember you. They are loyal to you. Loyalty, wafa. And that loyalty, my brothers and sisters, comes in the form of protection when you are not around. Protection when you are afflicted, and protection when you're in need of them the most, and that is after you die. The true friend is a mirror, and the true friend is loyal. And those two come together because the true friend is going to be the person that wants what's best for you, while the person who's not a true friend will tell you what you want to hear. And that's why the Imam alayhi salam, he says, صديقك من نهاك وعدوك من أغراك. Your true friend is the one that tells you no, don't do that, while your enemy, the traitor, is the one that tells you yes, go do it. The one that paints for you a picture, an illusion of what reality is, and doesn't tell you the consequences. Your friend is the one that tells you the consequence. Tells you, if you drink, you're going to get drunk, and you may get behind the wheel and hurt yourself. If you smoke, you're gonna come back home and you're gonna smell like weed, and your mother or father is gonna smell that and see that on you. If you do this is the consequence. Pay attention. But the traitor will come and tell you, no, let's have a good time. This is fun. This is okay. And don't worry, I'll drive you back home. How many times have we heard of guys or girls that have been told, I'll drive you back home, and didn't go back home? They didn't come back home. They were irresponsible, and their friends were irresponsible. Their friends were traitors, and they themselves were silly enough to accept. Silly enough to accept. The true friend is the one that mirrors you and tells you of the reality and doesn't hide it from you. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Naam. That's why Ashab al-Hussain alayhi salam are the best of ashab, because they were loyal to the Imam. This is what he said. He didn't just say, I don't know of ashab, companions that are as best or as good as my ashab. No, he said as good and as loyal as my ashab. And yes, they were loyal to the Imam to their last breath, to their last dying breath. And you see how much love the Imam alayhi salam had for his companions. When he stood on the plains of Karbala, when there was no one left, none of his companions were left. He looks right, he looks left, alayhi salam, and he calls out in the desert, Ya Abtal al-Safa, ويا فرسان الهيجاء, O valiant warriors, O brave fighters, ما لي أناديكم فلا تجيبون وأدعوكم فلا تسمعون. Why do I call you and you don't respond? Why do I call you? Don't you hear me, my friends, my companions? أأنتم نيام أرجوكم تنتبهون أم حالت مودتكم عن إمامكم فلا تنصروه? Or is it that you don't love your Imam anymore, so you don't support him? The Imam is lamenting his ashab. يا حبيب ابن مظاهر يا زهير ابن القين يا مسلم ابن عوس جاء يا فلان يا فلان يا فلان. He screams for Habib. He calls out for Muslim. He calls out for Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi. He calls out for his companions. Even al-Hurr ibn Yazid, who was just on the side of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. The Imam yearns for his loss and cries for his loss. It said Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi was on the battlefield against the Imam. He heard the plea of the Imam for help. So he went to Umar ibn Sa'd and said to him, "Are you fighting this man?" Ibn Sa'd replied, "Yes, by Allah, a kind of fighting that the least of its results is that heads will fall and hands will be chopped." Al-Hur said, "Are you not satisfied with what he has proposed to you?" So Ibn Sa'd replied, "Had it been for me, I would have accepted his proposal, but your commander refused." Al-Hur left him and stood with the people. Qurra bin Qais was on his side. Hur said to him, "Have you given your horse some water to drink today?" Qurra said, "No." Hur said, "Do you want to give it some water?" So Qurra thought that Al-Hur wanted to leave the battlefield, but doesn't want anyone to see him. So Qurra walked away. Al-Hur was gradually going near the camp of Imam al-Hussein. Muhajir bin Qais asked him, "Ya Hur, do you want to attack?" Hur kept quiet and shivered in his place. So Muhajir became suspicious of what was happening and said, "If someone were to ask me who was the bravest of the people in Kufa, I wouldn't say anyone other than you, Ya Hur. What is this that I see from you?" So Hur said his famous words, "أخير نفسي بين الجنة والنار." I'm giving myself the choice between heaven and hell. By Allah, I choose nothing over heaven, even if I were to be burnt. He rode his horse towards Imam al-Hussein's camp with his spear turned around, his shield upside down, and his head down, because he was ashamed of what he'd done to Imam al-Hussein. He raised his voice saying, "O Lord, I turn to you in repentance, for I frightened the hearts of the offspring of your prophet. Ya Aba Abdullah, inni ta'ib, fahalli min tawbah. Ya Aba Abdullah, I repent to Allah from what I did. I want forgiveness from Allah from what I did. Do you think Allah will accept my repentance?" Imam al-Hussein said, "If you repent, Allah will forgive you." So Hur stood up, and after a while he came down to the battlefield saying, "Inni ana al-hur ومأوى الضعيف إني أنا الحور ومأوى الضعيف أضرب في أعناقكم بالسيف." He came down saying, "I am Hur, I'm the protection of the weak. I'll come down to protect Hussein, to defend Rasulullah's women. He came down fighting like a warrior. As he was fighting on his horse got hit and he came down from his horse. He kept on fighting until he killed 40 men. When they saw Hur destroying them one by one, they all ganged up on Hur. Some were hitting him with their swords, others were striking his body until Hur fell from his wounds. After the enemies left Hur, the Imam came to the body of Hur, and there was still some life left in Hur. The Imam sits beside the body of Hur and wipes the blood off the face of the fallen soldier and says, Bakhin bakhin laka ya Hur, anta hurrun kama sammatka ummuk. Oh Hur, you're free, just as your mother has named you. Another companion from the companions of the Imam is Muslim ibn Awsajah. He came to the Imam and asked for permission of the Imam to fight. Muslim ibn Awsajah came down to the enemies and fought very, very bravely. Ammar ibn al-Hajjaj, along with his troops, attacked the camp of Imam al-Hussein. When the two forces clashed, some men were left on the ground, and Muslim ibn Awsajah fell with the men, but he was still alive. The Imam came to Muslim ibn Awsajah. Along with him was Habib ibn Mudahir. The Imams came to him and said, May Allah have mercy on you, Ya Muslim. Muslim alayhi salam was still alive, listening to the Imam. Habib alayhi ridwanullah said, seeing you like this, Ya Muslim, has hurt me. I know you're going to heaven, Ya Muslim. Muslim replied, I hope you see goodness, Ya Habib. Habib said to him, if I wasn't absolutely sure that I was following in your footsteps, I would have asked you for your will, your one last wish, Ya Muslim. So Muslim replied, Na'am, أوصيك بهذا الغريب أوصيك بهذا الغريب أن تموت دونه. Yes, O Habib, my will is that you take care of this man, pointing to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. Take care of the stranger. Give all that you have for Imam al-Hussein. Habib said to him, rest assured, Ya Muslim, I swear by the Lord of the Kaaba, I will. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. والعاقبة للمتقين. يا Allah, we ask you, Ya Allah, by the right of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, accept this majlis from us, Ya Allah. Accept our amal, Ya Allah. Forgive us for our sins, Ya Allah. Make us from the supporters of Imam al-Hussein, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Heal the sick, forgive our sins, accept our salat and a'mal, and make our parents and Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman proud of us, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد. Let's recite Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والشهداء والعلماء. Before it, aloud صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل.
Thank you everyone for attending tonight's session, and make sure you tune in tomorrow evening at 9:30 p.m. We look forward to your attendance, and with that tonight's session is ending. See you tomorrow, inshallah.